Hi there. Our topic for today is active passive voice. बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स मुझे पूछता है कि एक्टिव पैसिव का यूसेज कहाँ है, कि उसके क्वेश्चंस आएंगे ज़्यादा. बट द थिंग इज एक्टिव पैसिव वॉइस के डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस कभी आते नहीं हैं. व्हेनेवर यू आर गिविंग योर IELTS टेस्ट, से फॉर एग्जांपल आपका जो स्पीकिंग सेक्शन है या फिर आपका राइटिंग सेक्शन है, एक्टिव पैसिव हैज़ एन इनडायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट ऑन योर स्कोरिंग. हाउ? आई विल टेल यू. आपने जो स्कोर इंडिकेटर है आपके स्पीकिंग और राइटिंग के, उसमें देखा होगा दैट ग्रामर रेंज एंड एक्यूरेसी होल्ड्स 1/4 ऑफ योर बैंड्स. राइट, आपके 1/4 बैंड है वो ग्रामर रेंज और एक्यूरेसी के है. उसके अंदर एक्टिव पैसिव आता है. वेयर इन ग्रामर रेंज मतलब आपका जो ग्रामर है उसकी क्या रेंज है, आपका how many types of sentences do you know, are you able to use them very well, do you know active या passive voice, or do you know how to speak in indirect speech. All these things combinedly form grammar range. Hence, active passive does not have a direct impact on your score sheet, but indirectly it does. तो इसके जो basics है, how to change the voice of a sentence, that is something that a student must know. And hence, let us start with the lecture. All right. Now, what basically is active voice and what basically is passive voice? दोनों में होता क्या है? Then let us see. A sentence can either be in active or passive voice. Active voice. In an active sentence, the subject performs the action, and in passive sentence, the subject receives the action. कोई भी आपका sentence होता है, उसके अंदर एक noun होता है. That we all know, right? There is always going to be a noun, and whenever the noun is doing something, say for example, कोई भी action चल रही है, right? And the noun is performing it, then such a sentence or such a voice is called active voice. And whenever the same noun, now it is receiving some action, right? उनके साथ कुछ हो रहा है, then such a sentence is passive voice. Here in active voice, I will repeat again. Active voice when subject performs the action. जो the main focus is on your noun, the one which is performing an action. And when it comes to passive, the main focus is on action being received by that noun. Now let us see what is the structure. Right, हमारे यहाँ पे example है, Ram can climb the mountain. Ram can climb the mountain. Now we have noun over here, we have verb over here, we have auxiliary verb over here. Then let us see which of these is which one. So here Ram is a subject. जो यहाँ पे था अगली slide में, in the previous slide, that active voice and active sentence, the subject receives the action. Performs the action, right? Subject performs the action. And hence over here, Ram is the subject. Why? Because he is performing an action. He is, ऐसा बोल रहे that he is capable enough to climb the mountain, right? And he hence is performing the action. So what is the subject over here? Ram is your subject. Can over here is an auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb basically is a verb which helps the main verb to make sense, right? To perform an action, verb को help करता है auxiliary verb. The primary auxiliary verbs in English are be, do, and have. The modal auxiliaries are can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, and would. All these verbs help the main verb to perform an action. Next, climb over here is the main verb. हमारा main verb जो है, that is climb. Next, the mountain is a complement. As in, the mountain is something which is receiving the action, right? इसको हम लोग object भी बोलते हैं, right? A complement is a word, phrase, or the clause that is necessary to complete the meaning of a given expression. जो पूरा subject है, पूरा sentence है, उसका meaning है, to give the meaning, right? अगर ये जो पीछे the mountain है वो नहीं लिखा होता, then the entire sentence feels like there is no information बहुत कम है, Ram can climb, right? But what? The mountain. So whenever we add the mountain, which is complement, पूरा जो sentence है वो meaning बनाएगा. I hope that is very clear. Now let us see what is a verb form और हमारे active passive में कौन सा verb form use होगा. The past tense and past participle of regular verbs can be formed by adding ed to the end of the verb root. कोई भी verb होता है उसके पीछे हम ed लगा दें. Now there are two type of verbs. This happens in what kind of verb? Regular verb. यहाँ पे बोल्ड लेटर्स में भी हाईलाइट किया हुआ है दैट दिस हैपेंस इन रेगुलर वर्ब. अगर वर्ब को पास्ट फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करना है तो उसके पीछे हम ई डी लगाते हैं. राइट, हियर इट इज गिवन इन द एग्जांपल. जैसे कि कॉफ लिखा है यहाँ पे, तो कॉफ का पास्ट टेंस करना है तो क्या करेंगे हम लोग ई डी ऐड कर देंगे यहाँ पे. हेंस व्हाट डिड इट मेक? कॉफ्ड हो गया इसका. सेम हैपेंस इन पास्ट पार्टिसिपल. कॉफ्ड, ई डी लगाया है हमने. If the verb already ends with an e, then we simply add a d, right? अगर यहाँ पे डांस का एग्जाम्पल दिया है, जो वर्ड है वो पूरा e से एंड हो रहा है, तो हम वापस से ed नहीं लगाएंगे. We will just make sure that we add d to the end of the sentence, to the end of the word to make it a past or a past participle. यहाँ danced में हमने e already है पीछे, तो वापस से ed नहीं लगाया, सिर्फ d लगाया है, right? All right. The present participle of regular verbs is formed by adding ing to the end of the root. Now we have four type of verb: present, past, past participle and present participle. हमें ये तीन तो पता है कि present होता है, it is something which is happening right now. उसको past करना है तो ed या फिर d ऐड करेंगे. past participle करना है तो ed या फिर d वापस से ऐड करेंगे. But if we want to convert it into present participle मतलब continuous tense में use होता है. And hence what will we add? ing form at the end of the root. यहाँ पे ing coughing कर दिया और dancing कर दिया. ing to be used in what? Continuous tense. All right. But on the other hand, the past tense and past participle of irregular verbs, ये बात तो थी हमारी regular verbs की कि हम पीछे ed या फिर d लगा दे तो वो past tense हो जाता था. But when it comes to irregular verbs, the forms will vary. बहुत ही अलग form होगा. Present का कुछ और word होगा, past का कुछ और, participle तो कुछ और ही. Right, so that is why it is known as irregular verbs. Now, what is the way that you can remember or you can know these words? There is no other way. You will just have to refer to the list or a dictionary and try to memorize the changes. ये जो changes होते हैं, अलग-अलग words होते हैं, वो आपको memorize करने पड़ेंगे. See, this is something which cannot be learned. This is just something that you have to memorize. या फिर जितना ज़्यादा यूज़ करेंगे तो अपने आप ही मेमोरी में आ जाएगा. You will not even have to work or go an extra mile to remember these things. So just practice enough and I'm very sure कि with more and more practice of English you will end up learning these words. So let us see the examples of irregular verbs and its forms. The word arise. Arise is present. तो उसका past क्या होगा? Arised नहीं होगा. Right? We are not going to add d. We are not going to add ed. ये हो जाएगा arose. A-R-O-S-E. You can see that pronunciation and spelling also changed. यहाँ I की जगह पे O हो गया. And another and we will add more when it comes to participle. ये arose से सीधा arisen हो जाएगा. We have added n at the end of the present form of arise and hence we have gotten arisen, which is past participle. Same for awake, awoke, awoken. ये अलग है. यहाँ पे अवोक का अवोकन हुआ है, यहाँ पे अरोज का अरोजन नहीं किया था हमने, अराइज का अराइजन किया था. बी, was, been, become, became, become. ये वापस से सेम हो रहा है, सिर्फ became which is in past. Begin, began, begun. And again we have changed one word everywhere. And hence you can see that there is not a single pattern. कोई pattern नहीं है जो हर कोई word follow कर रहा है. All of them have their own forms, their own way of changing the words. And again, I will repeat, you just have to memorize it. Now, let us see what is the structure. कितने steps follow करते हैं तो पूरा एक active से passive voice का पूरा एक sentence बन जाएगा. First we'll refer to the last point जो पूरा structure है, and then I'll break it down for you and explain how to do it. Here, this is the last sentence. What is the structure? Complement मतलब हमारा जो object था, something that adds or finishes the sentence, right? इसके बगैर आपके sentence में information complete नहीं होगी. Here we have complement, then we have auxiliary verb. It is always optional. Auxiliary verb use करना पड़े तो ही use करना है. It will always depend on the question which is asked. Then be form of verb. Verb का जो be form होता है वो हमें add करना है. Plus main verb. Main verb is always going to be there, but it is going to be in another form which we'll see. By हमें add करना ही है no matter what when it comes to passive voice. And subject. You can see that जो active voice होता है उसमें subject पहले होता है और complement बाद में होता है. But when it comes to passive voice हमारा complement पहले चला जाएगा और subject last में. Subject है वो complement बन जाएगा, complement है वो subject बन जाएगा. I hope that is clear. Now let us see all of these things in details. First thing, what we are supposed to do while converting an active sentence into passive, you are supposed to place the complement of active sentence at the beginning of passive sentence. आपका जो active sentence है उसका complement, उसका जो object रहता है वो हमें passive sentence के beginning में place करना है. So that is something that is going to come first. If there are any auxiliaries in the active sentence, place them immediately after the new subject agreeing in number with the subject. अगर आपके क्वेश्चन में ऑलरेडी ऑक्सिलरी वर्ब प्रेजेंट है, हमने देखा था ऑक्सिलरी वर्ब्स कौन से होते हैं. लेट अस सी अगेन. Yeah, these are the auxiliary verbs, right? So if either of these words or any other auxiliary verbs are present, वो हमें तुरंत ही लगा देना है where after the complement. Next, insert the verb be after the auxiliary or auxiliaries in the same form as the main verb in the active sentence. हमारा जो main verb होता है उसके जैसे ही हमें be add करना है after where auxiliary. उसके बाद क्या करना है, उसके बाद हमें main verb add करना है. After be, what is going to be placed? You are supposed to put the main verb. Main verb होता है वो अब हमेशा past participle. Whenever, remember this is a golden rule, whenever it comes to passive voice, आपका जो verb है वो हमेशा V3, that is past participle में ही होगा. Past में भी नहीं होगा, future में भी नहीं होगा, sorry, past में भी नहीं होगा, present में भी नहीं होगा, present participle भी नहीं. It is always and always going to be in past participle. Place the subject of the sentence after the verb in the passive sentence preceded by the position by. Now by is supposed to be added, right? आपको by add करना है और उसके बाद क्या add कर देना है? Subject. Now that is the structure of an entire sentence, which is a passive sentence. Now we will study how the following word order is in passive voice for different tenses. ये जितने भी word ये जो जितने भी words हमने देखे, right? One was complement, one was be, one was verb. तो ये सब अलग अलग tenses होते हैं, अलग अलग tenses. Say for example, अगर present है, अगर past participle, अगर past perfect है. So what is going to be the difference in the structure when it comes to all the different tenses? First one is simple present or simple past. हम दोनों का structure देखेंगे and then we'll see examples. What is the structure going to be? Complement, as we know, हमेशा पहले ही आएगा. Am, is, are, was, were. Am, is, are, was, were. From all these be form, we are going to place either of these depending on whether it is simple present या फिर simple past. Simple present है तो am, is, are आएगा. Simple past है तो was, were आएगा. And depending on first person, second person, third person, also depending on singular या फिर plural, am, is, are is going to change. Plus V3. अभी आंख बंद करके ही जाना है कि जब भी verb आएगा, whenever it comes to what? A passive voice, तो आपका जो verb tense है हमेशा past participle, that is V3. right? I'm not even going to repeat this again because this is something which we have to memorize कि जब भी passive voice होता है तभी हमारा जो verb है is always going to be V3, right? Plus by plus subject. Let us see the examples. Make sure that you have your eyes over the structure. जो structure है वो आप देखते जाइए जैसे ही मैं words place करती हूँ example में. First one is simple present. इसके बाद वाला होगा simple past. Let us see. तो active में आपका sentence कैसे होगा? Hurricanes destroy a great deal of property each year. Sentence क्या है कि जो तूफान होते हैं hurricanes, right? They destroy बहुत ही तबाह करते हैं like a lot of property every year. हर साल बहुत सारी property तबाह हो जाती है because of hurricanes. Now this is your active sentence. How are we going to bifurcate हमारा जो स्ट्रक्चर है कि इसमें से कॉम्प्लीमेंट कौन सा है, इसमें सब्जेक्ट कौन सा है, which of these is your verb? Let us see. Here hurricanes, right? In an active sentence, subject performs the action. Hurricane is doing what? It is destroying a great deal of property. मतलब हमें पता है कि जो hurricanes, the word hurricanes is going to be our subject. इसमें से action word कौन सा है? Then it is destroy. And destroy है, destroyed नहीं है, right? This is in present. Why? Because the entire sentence is in simple present. Next, a great deal of property is your complement. To find out what your complement is, always ask what, where, why, who, whom, और आपको पता चल जाएगा. Over here we can see hurricanes destroy what? A great deal of property. And hence we know that a great deal of property is your complement or your object over here. So let us see. हमें subject मिल गया, हमें verb मिल गया और हमें complement भी मिल गया. So we will be able to change the voice of the entire sentence. So सबसे पहले क्या करना है, हमें complement को subject बना देना है. So complement is a great deal of property. So the first thing we will place is the same thing, a great deal of property. Right? यहाँ you can see that यहाँ पे property है, properties नहीं है. That's why we are going to use is over here. A great deal of property is destroyed. Now यहाँ पे destroy था पर उसका past tense हमें past participle use करना है. तो destroy का past tense है destroyed, and hence the same verb form we are going to use over here. तो यहाँ लग गया destroyed. by आएगा ही, आपके subject के पहले by आना ही चाहिए. Hence by hurricanes each year. I hope that is clear. Let us go to next example, which is for simple past. The tornado destroyed 30 houses. Now the sentence is in past, right? क्योंकि क्या लिखा कि tornado आके चला गया, उसमें 30 घर है वो destroy हो गए. Destroy हो गए हैं already. It's all in the past, and hence your verb over here is destroyed, which is in past tense. तो subject इसमें है the tornado, verb is destroyed, और यहाँ पे जो 30 houses है, क्वेश्चन क्या पूछेंगे? The tornado destroyed what? Then we'll say 30 houses, and hence 30 houses is the complement. इसका passive form क्या होगा? 30 houses हम पहले रखेंगे, right? 30 houses, since this is in plural, यहाँ पे हम were use करेंगे. Was where use होगा because simple past है. Was और where के अंदर भी क्या use होगा, that is going to depend on your complement, because complement over here is plural. तो यहाँ पे जो be form है वो भी were use होगा. Destroyed, again यहाँ destroyed past था, यहाँ destroyed past participle आएगा by the tornado. Right? 30 houses were destroyed by the tornado. Now over here, the subject of your sentence is receiving the action, right? It is receiving the action. Very simple. Let us go to present progressive or past progressive. Progressive matlab continuous tense. Be very clear about it. इसमें ज़्यादा confuse होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Progressive matlab continuous. What is this structure going to be? Complement as usual plus am, is, are, was, were, depending on what? depending on whether it is present or past, plus यहाँ पे difference क्या है? Difference यही है एक being का. Since this is continuous tense, यहाँ पे being आएगा ing form, right? Remember that. Plus V3 verb form हमेशा V3 रहेगा, plus by plus subject. Let us see the example of present continuous. The sentence, the committee is considering several new proposals. The committee is considering several new proposals. So several new proposals is your complement, जो अब बन जाएगा subject, right? So what we will do is several new proposals. We are going to use the auxiliary verb are over here. Why? Because यहाँ पे proposals है वो plural form में है. And hence we have used are. Being, जो एक change था, we have added that is the be form. Considered, यहाँ considering था, present progressive, इसका हो जाएगा considered. यहाँ पे ing form नहीं आएगा क्योंकि being में already हमने ing लगा दिया. Hence considered by the committee. Several new proposals are being considered by the committee. I hope that is very clear. Next is past progressive. The committee was considering several new proposals. Again, our subject is going to be the committee. Our verb is going to be considering, and several new proposals is the complement, right? So several new proposals as usual is going to come first. Several new proposals, यहाँ was का हो जाएगा where, because now proposals is plural and hence were जो है, जो auxiliary verb है, वो भी हमारा plural वाला होगा. Being as usual, it is going to be there. Why? Because this is a continuous tense. Considered, considering था, यहाँ considered हो गया by the committee. Several new proposals were being considered by the committee. Right? बहुत सारे proposals consider करने में आ रहे थे. Hence, this entire sentence is continuous, but it is in past. Let us see example for present perfect or past perfect or future perfect. मतलब perfect के लिए सारे examples. Complement as usual is going to be first. Have, has or had. Depending on whether it is present, past or future, have, has or had differentiate होगा. Been. Now when in continuous tense being was there, perfect tense में क्या होगा? Change been. Plus everything is same. V3 plus by plus subject. Let us see the example. सबसे पहले है present perfect का. The company has ordered some new equipment. The company has ordered some new equipment. यहाँ पे the company is subject. Has ordered is our present perfect. पता कैसे चलेगा कि ये present है? क्योंकि यहाँ पे has है, right? यहाँ पे has है and that is why we know that this entire sentence is present perfect. Some new equipment, matlab some new equipment is complement. Let us turn it. So some new equipment is always going to be the subject now. Since it is equipment, it is in singular, तो यहाँ पे हमारा जो auxiliary verb है वो भी have नहीं has आएगा. It is present perfect, इसलिए have और has में से भी दोनों में से कोई एक आएगा. Also it will depend on again singular or plural tense. Been ordered. Been ordered, यहाँ पे हमने स्ट्रक्चर में देखा था कि been तो आना ही चाहिए, जैसे कंटिन्यूअस टेंस में being था, परफेक्ट टेंस में हमेशा been होता है. Ordered, this over here was second form of verb. This over here is past participle, right? By the company. I hope this is clear. Next is past perfect. Let us see the example. The company had ordered some new equipment before the strike began. Strike शुरू हुई इसके पहले कंपनी ने थोड़े equipment order किए थे. We always use past perfect to show what happened first and what happened later, right? So here subject is some new equipment, right? Some new equipment had been ordered by the company before the strike began. Now, one thing about past is that past perfect is that have or has confusion नहीं होता. When it comes to present, have और has का confusion हमेशा रहता है. right? But when it comes to past perfect, only had is going to be there. तो हमें ऐसे कहीं पे देखना नहीं पड़ेगा कि is it singular or plural in order to know that whether we are supposed to use has or have. यहाँ पे सिर्फ had ही use करना है, right? Some new equipment had been is compulsory, right? Ordered past participle होना चाहिए हमारा by the company before the strike began. नाउ द थिंग इज, ये जो बिफोर द स्ट्राइक बिगैन है वो आप पहले भी लगा सकते हो. इसका दूसरा जो फॉर्मेशन होगा, इट वुड बी बिफोर द स्ट्राइक बिगैन some new equipment had been ordered by the company. This is also correct. Now let us see what will happen when models are used in your voice. So this is going to be our structure: complement plus model plus be plus v3 plus by plus subject. ये आपको थोड़ा याद रखना पड़ेगा जो स्ट्रक्चर है. पहले पहले आप याद रखते हो, ज्यादा से ज्यादा सेंटेंसेस सॉल्व करते हो. आफ्टर दैट आई गारंटी कि आपको ये स्ट्रक्चर है वो भी याद नहीं करना पड़ेगा. यू विल बी एबल टू change the voice of a sentence without learning the structure. But पहले पहले in the beginning you will need to learn these structures. All right. Let us see the active voice of one of the examples. The manager should sign these contracts today. Now we know that it is a model because यहाँ पे should use हुआ है, and we know that should is a model. So the manager is your subject, should is the model, sign is verb, these contracts. The manager should sign what? These contracts, and hence we know that these contracts is your object or complement over here. So let us convert it as per the structure. These contracts being complement, सबसे पहले आएगा. हमारा जो मॉडल है वो डायरेक्टली वहीं के वहीं आएगा, राइट? शुड, these contracts should be form is always going to be there as per the structure. Signed by the manager today, signed v3 हमने यूज किया है. यहाँ पे फर्स्ट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब वाज देयर, here we have used v3. जैसे मैंने पहले बोला था कि एक गोल्डन रूल है that whenever it comes to एक्टिव पैसिव वॉइस, अगर पैसिव वॉइस होता है तो उसमें आपका जो वर्ब है वो हमेशा v3 रहेगा. Hence we have used signed over here by the manager today. I hope it is clear. अभी लास्ट वाला था वो मॉडल था. बट व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन वी यूज मॉडल प्लस परफेक्ट? अभी मॉडल भी यूज हो रहा है और परफेक्ट टेंस भी है, तो क्या होगा? इन द अदर एग्जाम्पल वी हैड सीन क्या कंपल्सरी था? बी वॉज कंपल्सरी, बट ओवर हियर we can see have and been is compulsory. Have compulsory है और been compulsory है. Only then the sentence will form into a model plus perfect tense वाला sentence. So let us see the structure again. Complement plus model plus have plus been plus v3 plus by plus subject. Again, you will need to remember all these structure till you actually figure out how to do. आपको याद रह जाएगा, पर पहले पहले you will need to work a little on memorizing these structures. Somebody should have called the president this morning. Somebody should have called the president this morning. So we know that somebody should have called whom. The answer is the president, and that is your complement. Hence, we will use that. The president should have been called this morning. यहाँ by somebody हम अगर add नहीं करते, which is fine. It does not make sense, or it wouldn't make any difference if we are adding it or no. Anyway, what is the focus over here is, focus is that president was called, right? So what have we done? Subject रख दिया, then we have shown the model, have, be form जो है been वाला वो हमने लगाया है. जो called है यहाँ पे उसका भी called हमने कर दिया. This is past participle, this morning. I hope this is clear. Now this is an exercise. The answers are also given, so we'll just refer to all the questions and conclude the lecture. All right. So first one is somebody calls the president every day. Question hai, somebody calls the president every day. Now we need to figure out what is the complement over here. So what will we ask? We'll ask the question. Somebody calls whom? So the answer is the president. So the president is going to be what? Our object. तो वो सबसे पहले आएगा, right? Here, the president. Then we will use the auxiliary, right? Is supposed to be here. The president is. Calls का क्या हो जाएगा? Calls का हो जाएगा V3, that is called by somebody every day. Here somebody is not important. Important क्या है कि president को call आ रहा है रोज. Hence we can have the option to add by somebody or just eliminate it altogether. तो आप directly ऐसे लिख सकते हो, the president is called every day and it would again be fine. Next one, John is calling the other members. उसका क्या होगा? The other members are being called by John. Right? I hope these are clear. What you can do is you can read all the other three. आप pause करके read कर सकते हो and it will be very clear for you. पहले try करो, identify करो कि question का tense कौन सा है. Once you find out the question's tense, then look at the structure of the sentence जो हमने पढ़े है, complement plus is, RM, was, where, right? वो structure से आप match करो and then look at the solution which has been given and it will be really clear for you. Same for these one. The teacher should buy the supplies for this class, right? So what can we change it into? The supplies for this class should be bought by the teacher. ये model वाला है, right? And hence the model is also used. You can again pause and refer to all the questions. यहाँ पे question है और right hand side आपके answers दिए हुए हैं. You can refer to it and I guess that is it. I hope active passive is clearer to you. आपको basic है वो clear होने चाहिए. I'm very sure that you will have to practice more even after this lecture to have it right. But without the basics, I think it would have been tough. So I hope you practice a lot and you score amazing marks in your IELTS exam. Thank you so much.